Chapter 1591 Space-Based Weapons. Xuanwu's body had long been transformed into a super battleship by the East China Sea region. He has armor with amazing defensive power, a huge internal space, and can dive and sail. He is simply an excellent natural material for a super battleship. The progress of improving superpowers is slow, but if technological means are added, the strength can be quickly improved. Inside Xuanwu's body, there is a Tianwei weapon similar to Liu Karen's Tianhai cannon. After hearing Suzaku's call, Xuanwu responded. The Xuanguang cannon did have a certain impact on the opponent, but that alone is not enough to deal with him. I want to apply to the region for a higher level of authority. He immediately applied to the Supreme Commander Li Guangxiao to mobilize higher-level weapons. Li Guangxiao replied in seconds. What are you waiting for? Kill these damn invaders at all costs. Otherwise, Donghai City will be finished. The situation was urgent, and Li Guangxiao did not hesitate at all. If it weren't for the fact that this was their territory, Li Guangxiao even wanted to throw a few death gods of love over. Received. Permission obtained. On this side, although Yin Jia was a little embarrassed, his own momentum was still strong. He seemed to have restrained some of his contempt for humans. When he looked at Qinglong and Zhu Ke next to him, he raised the blood ball in his hand. Even when facing a child, negligence is not right. Then, I will end the battle quickly. As soon as the voice fell, the blood jade in his palm suddenly exploded in midair. A terrifying river of blood surged out from midair. Qinglong and Zhu Ke seemed to see the shadows of countless dead souls in it. They were the faces of dead warriors, struggling and wailing, surging towards them with the blood waves. Qinglong's face was extremely solemn. He suddenly grabbed Zhuchua's body with his big hand, and then threw it into the distance with all his strength. Qinglong, you... Zhu Ke didn't expect Qinglong to do this, but her body was thrown out uncontrollably. Qinglong's voice rang in her ears. You haven't broken through the limit yet, and you can't help me if you stay here. Go over and help deal with the battles in other areas. Qinglong's voice was cold, as if he thought Zhu Ke was holding him back. But in Zhuchua's eyes, a hazy aura slowly emerged. She knew Qinglong's character. At this time, he chose to do this just to protect her. Because the enemy in front of him was too powerful. Zhu Ke had an unspeakable feeling in her heart. She regretted her current weakness. Even though she was already one of the top 3 masters in Donghai City, she couldn't help at all when facing the invasion of the top masters. She didn't want to sacrifice her partner again. But she didn't forget that she was a soldier and the guardian of the Donghai region. There was no point in running over to die in vain for a momentary impulse. Zhu Ke gritted his teeth, stabilized his body, turned on the flight jet device on his combat uniform, and rushed towards the battlefield where the blue-armored warriors were. Qinglong was facing the blood river in silver armor, and he felt the crisis of death coming, so he burst out all his strength. The golden breath shot towards the blood river to fight against the strange power. But his attack was swallowed up by the blood river, without splashing a single wave. Just when he was on the verge of despair and was entangled by the blood river, Xuanwu finally completed the docking with more advanced weapons. He raised his head and looked up at the sky. The sky was overcast tonight, and it was not a good weather. But above the dense dark clouds, further up, and in a more distant area, a huge military satellite opened its wing-shaped solar panels and adjusted its angle. An incomparable energy gathered along the energy transmission port to the beast's sting-shaped launch port at the end. Towards the blue planet below, a white beam of light was shot down. From the perspective of space, this is an extremely slender line, inconspicuous. But when it passed through the atmosphere, through the layers of clouds, and descended in an unstoppable manner, a deafening roar came from the sky, like countless thunders sounding one after another. Boom! Above the sky, the clouds were directly blasted open, and the agitated energy made the sky completely clear. Yin Jia seemed to sense something, raised his head and looked up at the sky, only to see a huge meteor light up directly above his head in the night, straight, with unmatched power falling. And around the light, The layers of clouds consciously made way for huge circular passages. Everything happened in an instant. When Jia realized that it was coming, its speed had reached an unimaginable level. So, just the moment he raised his head, he was completely enveloped by the huge silver light column. The light illuminated Donghai City. It was like dawn. In the 1980s, the top leaders of Colombia once proposed a bold Star Wars plan. Use satellites as weapons to establish a global strike network. The goal of this plan is to achieve a precise and powerful strike effect that instantly covers any part of the planet. Later, with the end of the battle between Colombia and Fremons, this plan gradually disappeared from people's sight. However, in the middle of the 21st century, with the development of science and technology and the continuous rise of armed forces, the Star Wars plan was picked up again by many powerful countries. In December 2050, the Ice Age came again. In order to deal with the emergence of aliens, the top leaders of various countries began to develop more powerful weapons that can accurately strike individuals. Weapons launched from the planet with the power to kill Epsilon-level aliens are called sky-dimensional weapons. Weapons launched from the universe using satellites and other means and instantly descending on the surface are called space-based weapons. As the guardian of the coastline of Huashu country, the East China Sea region certainly has the most cutting-edge weapons in technology. The space-based weapons landed with a bang, and the terrifying energy caused a storm that shook the entire East China Sea city. The Fog Valley warriors who were still slaughtering the Sea Dragon guards suddenly changed color when they saw this scene of heavenly punishment. How could this happen? It's clearly not the predicted time yet. Why did the heavenly punishment come? Could it be that we predicted it wrong? The warrior leader in black and white armor flew straight to the landing point of the space-based weapon without hesitation. If Jia really died in the battle, he would have to consider whether to continue the next action. Because in that case, the entire offensive plan would have to be changed. Chapter 1592 Behemoth. The black and white commander flew to the point where the space-based weapon landed, looked up at the sky, and his eyes were full of vigilance. He didn't even dare to get too close to the attack point, for fear that he would be affected. "General, are you okay?" The black and white commander contacted Jia. After a while, a voice came. "I'm fine." Jia's body flew out of the pit formed by the space-based weapon. Although his armor was a little deformed at this time, he was still alive. But everyone could feel that the anger surging from him was almost like a dark tide, wanting to engulf the entire East China Sea city. At this moment, Qinglong saw the dark red skin under his broken armor. It was completely different from human skin, scarlet, tough, like dried animal leather, and with spots of small bumps on it. Qinglong's eyes sank. Is it the same as what Chaos said at the beginning, a lizard-like existence? Sure enough, it is another civilized creature. The space-based weapons did not kill Jia, which made Xuanwu and Qinglong have a bad premonition. That kind of powerful weapon is not unlimited when used. Because the output power is too high, it must have a cooling time. However, next they are 2 against 1, and they are not without a chance of winning. What's more, this is Donghai City. If they launch a powerful weapon attack regardless of the consequences, it will be helpful to some extent. But at this moment, Jia turned his head away and no longer looked at Qinglong. His eyes were fixed on Xuanwu, and under the broken mask his scarlet right eye was exposed. He realized that the sea monster in the ocean was the main force of the human camp, and being attacked again and again made him so embarrassed that he was completely angry. "This guy is in your hands. Try to catch him alive. If not, take his body away." As soon as Jia finished speaking, he drove the blood river and flew towards Xuanwu in an instant. Qinglong was surprised. After fighting for a long time, he thought his life was in danger, but the opponent's main general actually escaped. The black and white commander watched Jia leave, and then he turned to look at Qinglong. "Do you want to do it yourself, or do you want me to do it?" Qinglong's eyes darkened. If he couldn't beat the opponent's main general, could he not even deal with a deputy? "Roar!" He roared, opened his mouth, and pounced on the black and white commander who was as small as an ant to him. Neon Harbor. the naval base of the Columbia Ocean Fleet. This is destined to be an extraordinary night. Just like the middle of winter, when it snows every day, there are constant thunders in the sky, as if foreshadowing something is about to come. The captain of the Hell Chain, Rear Admiral Cartiers, is still enjoying his life at night. In his villa, underwear and offspring isolation bags are thrown everywhere, and the ground is full of empty bottles of wine. He lies on a huge round bed, and a dozen girls who are scantily clad or even naked form a colorful puzzle, lying in all directions. Cartiers lies on a meat futon, with rough hair on his strong upper body. He looked very happy, enjoying his life of drunkenness and dreaming. Boom! A thunderclap sounded outside the window, lighting up the night sky. Cartiers looked out the window and, suddenly, stopped smiling. For some reason, he felt that danger was approaching. Cartiers climbed out of the pile of women and walked naked to the bed. The black ocean in the distance was surging, as if something terrible was approaching. He felt an inexplicable irritation, which had not appeared for a long time. The last time was when he went to Edo and encountered the 3 black-robed monsters. Damn, why do I always feel that something is going to happen tonight? He rubbed his eyebrows hard, then walked to the bathroom and opened the gate to the toilet. As an Epsilon-level alien who can control water, he easily excreted most of the alcohol in his body and then picked up a woman's thong from the ground and put it on. While casually putting on his clothes, he called Canero. Hey, Xiaoka. Captain, what's the matter? Damn it, I don't know. I just feel that something is going to happen. Don't you think this is weird? I was sleeping on a woman's belly. You mean there might be an enemy attack? Carnero felt a little puzzled. Who dares to attack Columbia's naval port? That is tantamount to seeking death. As early as the last century, a crazy country has proved with its own behavior how stupid this kind of thing is. So now, they can only exist as puppets of Columbia. Carnero thought about it and suddenly said, by the way, tonight, our 2 warships around Qingdao were destroyed. Do you think it is related to this matter? Who cares? Anyway, you should pay attention. Cartier said. Okay, since you said so, I'll go over and take a look. Canero ended the call, but he didn't forget about it. As a professional soldier, he was very disciplined. His cynicism didn't mean he wasn't serious about his naval duties. Especially now, he had just received intelligence about the Fog Valley incident. Canero came out of the command center, carrying his large sniper rifle that was taller than a person, and took the elevator to the tall observation tower. He raised the sniper rifle in his hand and slowly scanned the sea around the port with an optical auxiliary scope. The sea was calm, and the black tide was slowly surging, but nothing could be seen. A touch of blue light emerged from the depths of his eyes, which instantly widened his field of vision dozens of times. The ability Watcher can broaden the field of vision and have the ability of perspective. Even in the deep sea, you can see through things hidden under the waves. And just this one glance made Canero's face change suddenly. Under the dark sea, he saw an unimaginable behemoth, which was heading straight for the naval base with the waves. The monster, which was extremely large and far more than 100 meters in size, seemed to sense someone's prying eyes and opened its huge black eyes. It stared at Canero in the distance, without any emotion. Canero couldn't help but take 2 steps back, and then he immediately sent a voice message to Cartiers. Cartiers, stop playing. A terrible monster appeared at the naval base. As if responding to his statement, under the originally calm sea, a huge shadow appeared more than 10 miles in front of the naval base. In front of it, the warships with the largest displacement were as small as toys. Chapter 1593, Sweeping the Ocean Fleet. Canero immediately notified Cartiers and the entire Navy's senior management and issued the highest level of alert order with his authority. However, the huge monster has arrived. Boom! The sea water rolled up and rose dozens of meters, and the huge figure of the monster appeared from under the sea. It was a scarlet monster, like a huge lizard, with a long dorsal fin on its back and sharp spikes like a sword more than 10 meters long. When it emerged from underwater, The soldiers stationed on the coast showed extremely terrified expressions one by one. They had never seen such a terrifying scene in their lives. In front of the huge red sea monster, they were really as small as ants. The largest aircraft carrier was much smaller than it. The red monster appeared on the coast. It looked at the many human warships displayed on the seashore and just made the simplest action, sweeping across with its thick neck.
Boom, boom, boom.
After enduring a huge impact, these warships were instantly blown up, and a series of explosions occurred on the coastline. The world's top warships were wantonly destroyed like toys. Carnero clenched the sniper in his hand at this time. He wanted to shoot, but the instinct of a top sniper told him that if he shot at this time, he would definitely die. The enemy in front of him was so powerful that he could not contend with it alone. Screams continued to come, and a large number of naval soldiers died, and they were even killed by the aftermath of the sea monster's attack. The alarm of the naval base instantly resounded throughout the harbor, and a large number of troops attacked. But in front of the sea monster, they were too small, and no matter how many humans there were, they could not enter his eyes. At the critical moment, Cartier's, the highest combat power of the Ocean Fleet Navy, finally arrived. He flew over with a huge missile under his feet. Ha ha ha. Cartier's was always very cool every time he appeared, just like in the past. In his opinion, superheroes should enjoy everyone's attention. Under his control, the oversized tomahawk-shaped projectile headed straight for the sea monster. At the same time, Carnero pulled the trigger without hesitation. Through everything. The enhanced oversized missile and Carnero's attack landed on the giant sea monster at the same time. After the strong explosion, the giant sea monster's body did not shake at all. Carnero's ability allowed him to penetrate the thick skin of the sea monster, causing it to ooze out a stream of thick green blood. But compared to the sea monster's huge body, this injury was like a needle piercing a person's skin. Cartier's eyes became a little serious. Is this the monster that ran out of Star Island? He still remembered the fight with the gatekeeper of Hades. He was arrogant by nature and had long wanted to find an opportunity to avenge his previous shame. Of course, this premise is that he must have strong enough strength. After a long time, Cartier's strength has now broken through the threshold of the Black Chariot. As a human transformed by technology, his upper limit should have been locked. However, as time passed after the apocalypse, more and more powerful and magical people appeared. In Colombia, there was such a powerful alien who helped him break through his own bottleneck. Cartier stepped on a sticky gelatinous object, grinded his teeth with a fake smile, and looked at the giant sea beast with murderous eyes. Running to my territory to make trouble, this is clearly a slap in my face. Since you are here today, don't even think about going back. He clenched his hands in front of him and saw that between his hands, transparent water droplets gradually formed and then quickly condensed into a huge water ball. Super original water. Cartier's raised his hands high, and the water ball shot directly at the giant sea beast like a cannonball. The red-skinned sea beast glanced and noticed the existence of Cartier's. It opened its mouth directly, and a black energy ball quickly took shape and then shot forward, directly colliding with the super original water. The terrifying energy storm wantonly destroyed the port of the Navy fleet. The aftermath of the energy swept towards Cartier's, causing him to change color on the spot, and the red cape behind him, which symbolized the glory of the hero, was shattered. After a simple fight, Cartier's instantly realized that something was wrong. Behind the red monster, some swollen particles suddenly opened, and hundreds of armored warriors flew out from them. They took out their weapons and rushed to the entire naval base. The faces of all the Navy became extremely ugly. Just a red monster is so difficult to deal with, and there are warriors from other mysterious civilizations. How should they deal with it? At the headquarters of the naval base, the fleet commander Douglas, who was sitting here, looked at the tragic battlefield on the big screen with a solemn face. He said in a deep voice, "Be prepared to evacuate and also prepare space-based weapons." A school officer under him asked, "Then, what about the Tianwei weapons?" The Tianwei weapons he was referring to were naturally the god of death of love, because there was such a clause in the secret regulations of the military. Once an irresistible dangerous invasion is encountered, it will be eliminated at all costs. At that time, the use rights of the god of death of love will also be fully unlocked. Douglas is gloomy face. He is unwilling to destroy his nest. Otherwise, even if he can return to Columbia, his life will be completely ruined. However, judging from the current intelligence, all the civilizations in the underground world have extremely terrifying power. If they rely on them alone to fight, it is very likely that the end result will be the complete destruction of the ocean fleet. After thinking for a long time, Douglas dialed a communication channel that had not been contacted for a long time. It's time to let Franklin support us. The capital of Columbia is located in the Ville district of Franklin State. The ocean fleet after the end of the world is the frontier official of Columbia, holding power alone. But when it comes to armed forces and technological power, the core has always been in the hands of Franklin. If Douglas had not encountered an unsolvable problem, he would not be willing to ask Franklin for help. On the battlefield at this time, Cartier's had to choose to face the Red Sea Beast alone, because Canero could not support him at the moment. Among the alien troops in Fog Valley, there appeared a person wearing black and white armor who actually had the strength of a white chariot. Even Canero had to deal with it specially. This gave Cartier's a headache. Damn it! Damn it! Why does this monster exist? He covered his forehead with one hand, his eyes full of resentment. If only my absolute power could control the Epsilon-class deep-sea monster. When he said this, he launched his ability towards all the seas. In the surrounding seas, a large number of mutant sea beasts surfaced like cooked dumplings, filling the entire sea area densely. Sea swarms, especially group battles, I have never been afraid of them, Cartier said with gritted teeth. Chapter 1590, For the Product of Failure. Following the call of absolute power by Cartier's, countless sea beasts swarmed out from the sea near the port. The number was so large that even the Fog Valley troops were shocked. Among them, a considerable number of sea beasts had the strength of the upper delta level. Although they posed no threat to the red super-large sea beasts, they were very difficult opponents for those ordinary blue-armored warriors. Cartier's was never good at one-on-one battles. In a large-scale collision war, his strength could be brought to the extreme. Roar! Roar! The sea beasts roared terribly, and under the command of Cartier's, they attacked the Fog Valley troops regardless of their lives. Seeing this, the Red Sea monster seemed to feel that these small fish and shrimps were a bit troublesome and wanted to deal with them first. But how could Cartier's give him a chance? He laughed and raised his fist high, rushed over like a Superman, and rolled up hundreds of meters of huge waves behind him and attacked the Red Sea monster. In the ocean, his combat effectiveness can be greatly improved. The Red Sea monster glanced at him, and without any hesitation, its huge body suddenly jumped out of the seawater, and its narrow head was like a huge scimitar, swinging towards Cartier's. The excessive speed directly caused a deafening sonic boom in the air, and all the warships and sea beasts along the way were blown into pieces. Superman's body. Cartier's smiled grimly, waving his fist, and rushing towards the red monster. A transparent special water quality wrapped its whole body. It was the super original water that could dissolve everything. The moment the two collided, Cartier's felt unimaginable power, which was transmitted from his fist to his whole body. Crack. He clearly heard the sound of his arm bones breaking, but the super original water also exploded from his hand, like a scattered firework, spreading to the neck of the red monster. Swish! The super original water corroded the body of the red monster, and its skin and flesh were quickly melted. And Cartier's was also violently whipped out and crashed directly into the sea. White smoke rose from the neck of the red beast. The wound looked hideous, but compared to its huge body, this injury was not a big problem. However, the sea suddenly exploded, and Cartier's flew out again. He looked at his twisted right arm and saw that he exerted a little force, and the twisted arm was like a spring, quickly recovering its original posture. The superhuman body gave him a strong self-healing ability. He was Cartier's, the Lord of the Ocean. The most successful human transformation in the history of Colombia. What kind of strengthening system and Beastman system are not worth mentioning in front of Colombia's world-class genetic engineering? Since he has embarked on the glorious evolutionary path, Cartier's has never planned to stop. His body has long been a frequent visitor in the laboratory. However, he has also gained enough powerful strength. But it's really good. Cartier's laughed loudly, and the Red Sea Beast looked down at the slightly stronger ant in front of him, his eyes revealing confusion. He didn't understand why this guy still had the courage to laugh wildly. It opened its huge mouth, and a black energy ball condensed in its mouth. It was just a small sphere relative to its size, but for humans, it was bigger than a truck. Cartier's felt the crisis coming, but his face was full of madness and belligerence. The Tianwei weapon is ready. Such a prompt came from the intelligence system beside his ear. Please receive the weapon. As soon as the voice fell, a metal gate suddenly opened from the naval base, and then two blue flames pushed something towards Cartier's. After precise locking, it came directly in front of Cartier's. Cartier's reached out to take it, and it was a giant cannon barrel that was more than 10 meters long. The whole body was pitch black, the mechanical mechanism was extremely complex, and it was so heavy that it was almost suffocating. Only a strange person like Cartier's dared to pick up such a weapon and use it as a rocket launcher. He raised the giant Tianwei weapon and aimed it at the Red Beast. The intelligence system was connected and fired directly. At the same time, the black energy cannon in the mouth of the Red Beast shot out, and the muzzle of the Tianwei weapon cannon also shot out a dazzling blue beam. The two met in midair and collided fiercely.
Boom.
It was as if a huge rock fell into the water, making such a dull and terrible sound. The two groups of energy gathered together to form a huge and colorful energy sphere, which swept along the sea surface in an instant, forming an enormous storm. The impact was so strong that all the sea beasts and Fog Valley warriors around were involved. Many of them did not have time to escape, and were directly swept by the terrible energy and blasted into particle form. The raging waves swept across the naval base, and ordinary soldiers fled in panic. Although they were numerous, they could not play any role in this level of battle. After an impact, the Red Sea Beast finally looked at Cartier's with a solemn look. Little human didn't expect to the point that they actually have the power to contend with it. Has the technological development speed of the 6th generation reached this level? No wonder the destruction came so quickly. It seems that it is another product of failure. Cartier's looked at the Tianwei weapon in his hand, with an expression of love in his eyes. What a powerful thing. It's a pity that this thing can't be taken away to use. Although the Tianwei weapon is powerful, its shortcomings are also very obvious. It is too large, inconvenient to use, and troublesome to charge. It is okay to use it as a land-based defense weapon, but it is not convenient to use it as a personal weapon. For long-range strikes, it is more convenient to use the god of death of love. When the war broke out here, the leader of the soldiers in black and white armor had already landed on the naval base with some of the Misty Valley warriors to quickly wipe out this place. In secret, a gun was pointed at him. The former Billy the Kid Yasin Canero, after being promoted to the Ypsilon level, his ability has also undergone a qualitative change. Because he had suffered a loss at the hands of Zhang Yi and Xingdao Wugu, he resolutely added a long-range sniper rifle to his weapon options. The biggest advantage of a gunner is to launch attacks from a long distance, which he thinks he lacks. Therefore, his front battlefield should be like now, hiding in the dark and attacking the enemy. Chapter 1595, Attacking Huashu Country. The Black and White Commander led the elite troops of the Mist Valley to the naval base. Just as they were about to cause destruction and slaughter, a sniper rifle's large muzzle was aimed at his head. Canero held his breath, locked onto the head of the Black and White Commander, and quickly pulled the trigger. A black light shot out from the muzzle of his gun and arrived in front of the Black and White Commander in an instant. Just as the Black and White Commander was about to make a move, he sensed the breath of danger coming in front of him, and his forehead felt cold. He activated his ability without hesitation, blocking his body with his arms, and his body suddenly doubled in size. The two arms were wrapped in black and white armor, like two metal pillars blocking in front of him. Puff! The indestructible body of the enhanced ability user was instantly blasted open by Kanero's bullet. The black and white commander's arms were directly pierced, his pupils shrank sharply, and he used his arms to slow down the speed of the bullet, narrowly avoiding his head. Swish! The black bullet, mixed with terrible superpowers, grazed his head and shattered his armor. The red skin inside was exposed. As the armor skin fell off, it was faintly visible that he had a short red horn on his head. However, do you think it's over? It's not over. Following that bullet, two more bullets rushed straight to his body with a hair-raising attitude. All Things Penetrate, a powerful armor-piercing ability, can dissolve most of the defense of all physical defenses. Even if the opponent's superpower index is far higher than Kanero's, it is easy to suffer when facing him. This is the ability of a sniper, strengthening all the power in an ultra-long-range absolute attack method. In the past, Kanero once fell into a misunderstanding. He believed that only by developing all his abilities in a balanced way could he become invincible. But after meeting Zhang Yi, he realized that if a person wants to be perfect in all aspects, he can only be extremely mediocre in all aspects. Without outstanding places, he cannot become a unique person. For example, Zhang Yi, if he pushed his defense to the extreme, he could give enemies with much higher superpower indexes a headache. And what Kanero chose was the ultimate means of attack. From the beginning of this war, Kanero did not appear directly. The black and white commander's attention was on Cartier's, thinking that there was no stronger alien in the naval base. So Kanero's attack caught him off guard. 3 shots were fired, 1 shot pierced his arms, and the remaining 2 shots pierced his chest and lower abdomen. As a top-notch enhanced alien, the black and white commander's reaction speed was extremely fast and avoided his vital points. But before he could see the opponent's appearance, he was hit by 3 shots, which forced him to put away his contempt for humans. These guys are a little stronger than I thought. It seems that we have to take it seriously. The black and white commander took a fighting stance, and what was terrifying was that the wounds on his body caused by Kanero were healing at an astonishing speed. The enhanced aliens have the strongest physiques. In terms of physical defense and self-healing ability alone, they are the most powerful. Kanero's 3 shots were all avoided by him. Even if his internal organs were injured, as long as his brain and heart were not destroyed, he could regenerate quickly. Seeing this, Kanero's mouth slowly curled up into a smile. I know, I always knew that you guys are the most difficult to deal with. That's why I admire that man. The black and white commander had already confirmed Kanero's direction and was about to sprint over to kill the human who secretly shot him. But suddenly, his body stiffened violently, and a strong sense of paralysis enveloped his whole body. Kanero said lightly, I added deadly toxins to the bullet. This is also what that man taught me. Whether an alien is strong or not does not only depend on the ability index. Whether he can respond flexibly on the battlefield, whether he can give up the so-called dignity of the strong and kill his opponent at all costs, this may be more important. In a life and death war, as long as you can win, then no means are important. The black and white commander gnashed his teeth, and this time he was really angry. He was fooled by humans again and again, and his heart could not bear such humiliation. Roar! He roared angrily to the sky and injected antidote into the veins of his armor to suppress the toxin that was about to spread throughout his body. Then, he rushed towards Kanero like a gust of wind.
Boom.
In a flash, everything he passed was destroyed, like a sword slashing from the sky, leaving a straight and terrifying mark in the naval base. Kanero's face became more solemn. It's really hard to kill. He stood up without hesitation and flew away. In the naval base he was familiar with, he was like a swimming fish, using the auxiliary function of his combat uniform to quickly escape. During the pursuit of the black and white commanders, explosions occurred everywhere. The trap set by Kanero was launched, Those places were specially prepared for the powerful aliens who invaded the naval base. One by one, the explosives depots were blown up directly, and the explosives were comparable to the equivalent of the miniature love-death god, and a huge mushroom cloud rose in the air. The temperature around the entire naval base rose by hundreds of degrees, warm as summer. While the two Wugu troops attacked the two major military bases in the East China Sea region, 3 silver armors led hundreds of elite Wugu warriors to fly towards the land of Huaxiu. The armor on their bodies was like an aircraft, spewing blue light, like a group of meteors breaking through the night sky. After they came to the offshore of Huaxiu and saw the vast land, the 3 silver armors looked at each other, exchanged some ideas, and then the whole team quickly split into 3 directions. One went straight to the northeast. One went straight to the northwest. One went straight to the south of the Yangtze River. The naval bases of the East China Sea region and the Columbia Ocean Fleet were attacked, and the entire Huaxiu region received intelligence at the first time. However, due to the long distance and the efficiency of human intelligence transmission, there was no way to let everyone know in time. For example, in the Jiangnan region, Zhang Yi could not get the information firsthand, and it needed to be conveyed through Blizzard City. In the distant northeast region, the coldest area in the entire Huaxiu country, Luya Daojun Han Shanzhua was shirtless, drinking beer and chatting with a few friends in the heating room when he got the news. Dear viewers, please like and comment on the video and also subscribe if not already. It helps us a lot. Thanks.